And in fact, as part of the Democratic budget proposal that I'm putting forth on behalf of my colleagues in Congress right now, we're addressing these issues and trying to make sure that we provide the resources, not just to the people of Flint, but to people around the country, because it should never be the case in America that where you live or what your income is or what your race is determines whether you have clean air and clean water, whether that's lead out in Flint or whether it's lead paint here in the Baltimore area. This is part of a larger issue of environmental justice. I'm proud in this campaign to have been endorsed by the Sierra Club that has made environmental justice one of its key platforms. And they've looked at our records, and I have been fighting on these issues for a very long time. So yes, we need to address this on an urgent basis. Right now, I'm working with Congressman Elijah Cummings, who of course does a great job representing Baltimore City, to make sure that victims of lead paint are not harmed twice when they get a settlement for being harmed the first time and somebody goes out to try to get them to sell that in a way that hurts them. So this is an issue that we need to address on an urgent basis, and again, I put forward specific proposals to deal with it. Environmental justice is part of the fight for equal justice and equal rights.
Thank you very much. Ms. Edwards.
Just a few weeks ago, I had the privilege of co-chairing a policy hearing with our leader, Nancy Pelosi, on the Flint crisis, looking at what happened at every single level, but particularly concerned not just with the fact that there was a disinvestment in the water infrastructure itself and diverting poisoned water into homes, but what would happen in terms of the long-term cognitive success of those children, some 9,000 children. And that is the same circumstance that we really face here in Baltimore as well, because when a child is poisoned with lead under the age of 6, it impacts their cognitive ability over the course of their lifetime. And so I think that we have to, in addition to the hard infrastructure and make those improvements, that we also have to make sure that we have resources available for education over the course of a lifetime. And we're starting to see relationships between the incarcerated population and lead paint poisoning. And I think when those links are made, it's really important for us to make investments early on so that we can have some mitigation to what might happen with children and with young people down the line. So the physical resource, but also the other sorts of education and other services that are needed to make people as whole as they can be.
Thank you. Mr. Van Hollen, any rebuttal?
No, other than to say and emphasize that this has been an issue where, being left to the states, in many instances, we've seen what happens when you have governors, like the governor of Michigan, who has neglected his responsibility to all the people of Michigan, which is why I do believe that it's important for the federal government to take more responsibility in this area, and certainly to step up our efforts to modernize our water infrastructure and make sure that those funds are going to where they're needed. You know, when I put together the budget on behalf of all our Democratic colleagues, I worked very closely with the Congressional Black Caucus and, in fact, adopted their proposal as part of the Democratic budget to make sure we do a better job of targeting resources to areas that need them the most. That's a very important function of the federal government, and we need to pursue it in this area as in others.
Okay, thank you very much.